Good morning. Good morning.
It is Tuesday, August 29th, 2023. We are here for IUPA union negotiations with the City of Port Orange. John McKinney, Assistant City Manager.
Arlene, Assistant City Attorney.
Kyle Totten, IUPA Business Agent.
Ryan Lambert, IUPA Attorney.
Chris Raines, IUPA Vice President.
Jared Alvasados, IUPA President.
Candace Gates, HR General.
And Sharon Cranick, HR Director.
Morning.
Morning, sir.
So as promised, told you as soon as I would get the cost impact, I would call you and make an appointment. This is from that. I know that you were part of the email string, so within minutes of receiving it, back up. Call this meeting. I also promised that as soon as I got the cost impact on the line of duty death, that I would get that added to the agenda, which that placeholder has been there for months. Not waiting on the city. Great post, by the way, but not waiting on the city. Waiting on Mr. Little. So that was done and in place within 5 minutes. So that is on next Tuesday's meeting to grant you the line of the police, pension board, the line of duty death, as we all agreed back in February. So with that said,
Second reading, correct?
first reading, can't take it to council for consideration by law without a cost impact study. So even though the MOU was agreed to by IUPA and PBA months ago, we've been waiting specifically on the cost impact study. I did discuss with the pension plan administrator, who also conferred with their attorney, which is the same advice I was given by the city attorney, that the city legally cannot submit it for council consideration without that document. So that has been the holdup. It has not been city staff, administration, or anything. It is waiting on the pension board's actuary. So anyway, the purpose of today's meeting is to talk about retirement. The other thing that I wanted to kind of mention, two things, is yes, where can I put it? I did receive from Kyle the email from June 23rd regarding the rejection of the city's proposals that we had given. And Kyle did relay in that email to me on June 23rd a couple of other items that you referred to last week. Receiving an email from Mr. Toten is not considered a proposal. That has to be done at the table, so that is why I did not put it in any of the items that we've done, is because it wasn't presented in the sunshine to us. So, but I did put a counter to it that I will go through. So specifically regarding Article 29, which is where I would like to start. So in speaking previously and looking at where we might be interested in, is we had specifically asked back in October for, sure I got it all together here. I had specifically asked when we did this that the city was looking to pay for 4 items with IUPA 2 items. Annual benefit increased to 120, employee contributions of 8%, a COLA drop, and then IUPA was paying for average final compensation of 3 years and normal retirement date. So with that stated is we were very clear when we spoke with Mr. Little that we wanted these items in a specific way. He then submitted to the pension board, which was forwarded to me last Wednesday, that they were still bundled. Okay. So then I went out there and proposal 1 through 6 had a nice little leeway, and you did receive this email as well, that I broke it down into the 6 items. So Mr. Little, and I stated to him, is that to make sure that I have captured what council requests were of receiving these 6 items, costs, impact separately, I've reviewed your proposal and broken items out individually as shown below. Would this be a correct assumption on what the cost impact is for each of the 6 items? Regards. I sent that to him Thursday, August 24th at 12:26 p.m. I did not have a response as of yesterday morning, so I reached out to him with Sharon, went through my email, and he's like, verbally, he says, off the cuff, yes, I agree with your statement, but let me review it. So he did respond, and he said he'd respond by close of business yesterday. He responded a little after lunch yesterday and says, correct. What you have shown is the costs added individually by each change in benefits. They are not exactly additive in any different order, but they are a good ballpark of how much the individual changes are. Note that the order matters. Let us know. So again, I did share these with city manager, city attorney, blah, blah, blah. So with that stated, as he has made it very clear, Mr. Little, and my conversations with the city attorney, everything is just, it's not an exact, assumption. It's an exact amount. It's an assumption that for Article 29, we will be more than willing to take the council, drop to all participants who have attained 20 years, average final compensation, 3 highest years, and normal retirement age for all participants, 20 years. Those are the 3 items for pension improvements that the city is willing to move forward to city council.
Retirement age or reserve service?
Retirement age, regardless of age, normal retirement age, regardless of age for all participants at 20 years. Okay. So that is that statement. Also, is my statement on that is that does not belong in the CBA. That is a pension improvement. That what I will do is that we're ready to ratify the CBA. I will take first reading simultaneously to council so that it's 1 for 1. So that you're seeing that we are moving forward with the pension improvement along with the CBA, because it really doesn't belong in your retirement article. Because if you do refer to your retirement article that we went through last week, it just simply says that the city of Port Orange agrees to maintain a retirement plan for officers. There will be no change in accrued benefits of plan members should an issue. Pension, I need to go 1 paragraph up. Pension and other retirement benefits for bargaining union employees not specifically set forth in this labor agreement or as set forth in the police pension fund ordinance. So all the various benefits that you would have would be spelled out within the ordinance. So again, if that's what y'all agreed to, council agrees to, then as I stated, I will, I've already worked with the city attorney's office on the language that would be included for the ordinance change. So no issues there. And I would, again, take those items simultaneously. Still takes 2 readings, but first reading would be the same evening. And to that point, I wouldn't have a problem with also putting it in as the ordinance item number 1 and CBA item number 2, so that, they are together, so that, there would be full transparency that we're not trying to do one and not the other. So we could literally put both items under public hearing. And I don't have a problem with that. City manager might say, no, I'd rather put the CBA in consent because it doesn't need to be discussed. But if y'all have a issue that you feel that, we're not being transparent, trying to pull something, then I would just do them both simultaneously. obviously under public hearing. Okay. In terms of your wages, I did take a look at it. We took a look at it, and the city has no interest in having a high impact versus low impact. It's a specialty pay. We're willing to increase all of them $5 per pay period, with the exception of detective assignments of $10. And the incentive pays as is are already more than comparable across other agencies. So I believe increasing them this amount is warranted at this time. Other than that, I have no other. Then we hadn't finished the review on the policies so that I presented to you last week. So I made sure that I did CC you, Jared, yesterday when after we put this through with Hurricane Idalia, with the city attorney and city manager. I made sure that I CC'd you directly on that email, and you can see that there was nothing added or removed from it in terms of, time and a half for when we are activated. And then it was advised to us that it's better to add it as comp time, not administrative service leave. And then the other difference is that where we had said 120 days, we just said the end of the year. So which would go in line with comp time policy. So, and it wouldn't be into this fiscal year. It would be into next fiscal year, because I wouldn't want you to think that. Yeah, I wouldn't want you to think that you had 31 days to utilize it.
So it's going to be FLSA type comp time, so we.
Yes, sir. Yep. The city policy and comp time's pretty tight. So it doesn't. It's the comp time's 1 for 1. So I mean, you're not getting it at time and a half. You're getting it.
So it's a separate. It's not FLSA.
Yeah, because remember, you're working the hurricane tomorrow. Yeah. You're working 10 hours. Right. That 10 hours work, you get time and a half.
So okay, that's what
we're going to give you another 1 hour for every hour worked of comp time. So you're really, in a sense, getting 2.5 times pay for everything that you're doing. So basically, if Carly's at home, I'm at home. You're getting the same benefit.
There's nothing that is in the future being able to take advantage of. I'm not here for almost another 8 years plus. Real quick, John, I just want to clarify one thing. With your retirement proposal, are you still wanting, is your proposal including the idea of changing the tier 1's contribution to 8%?
No, sir, I did not state that.
I understand that.
Yep.
I want to clarify because
there were 6 items.
Then
I will reread it again. Is that we asked specifically for 6 items.
So you're offering drop, 3-year final, and 20-year.
Yes, correct. So we did not view that it was at this time reasonable to increase contributions across the board to 8%. At this time, there's no thought of increasing the COLA nor increasing the annual benefit to $120,000. So we are only interested at this time in the drop for all employees, regardless of tier, average final compensation of 3 years for both tiers, and a normal retirement date of 20 and out, regardless of age. And I will make sure that I read this properly. Is that proposal number 6 was a retirement of 48 and 10 or 20. So this allows for normal retirement at 20 years of service, regardless of age, for both tiers. Okay.
Okay.
Then the only other item after speaking with legal, and I will give you a copy for your consideration, is in reviewing the wage article. I have it all here. It's up order. Number 28. First paragraph only. That is the only change. Everything else that was provided to you last week is 100% the same. No, we don't have a fancy copier. I say that to y'all every time.
We do have a printer now.
Yes, I did notice that Friday. Is that, and it's strike through, so you can see the original, is that affected the first full pay period, the ratification, following the ratification of this agreement by both parties or following October 1st, whichever is later for fiscal year 24, the employees will be slotted into the following pay schedule. That pay schedule hasn't changed from what was provided to you. I can give you a copy of that as well if you want, but I have not made, well, I take that back. I actually added the header. So, but nothing else has changed. I did take a look at what you stated about South Daytona. I reached out to them, and I believe that we took care of that across the board already by increasing pay $1.95. They're doing the dollar. We're doing the $1.09. We did the $1.95, and that's basically, it appears, in some ways, it's just a response to our $1.95. So that's where we are, Jared. I know you need to get back with me. I do believe, just in looking at everything, we've been very fair over the last few years about pay. We will continue to be fair about pay. We are, at the top, top two. So we will maintain that competitiveness. I do believe that we are, by going to 20 and out and the average 3 and drop, again, that's putting us right near the top in terms of retirement benefits. Incentive pay, same thing. I think we're up there. If you want to provide me with, something that says otherwise, I will definitely be willing to entertain that. But just from my cursory review, we're there. In terms of insurance, I think we've said enough. We are making sure that we're competitive. We will continue to review that every year. I am still looking, at possibly seeing what we can do if the budget holds true, come first hearing of even consideration of holding the dependent coverage again. I've been directed. So, so that's just making sure that the revenues support that expenditure. And again, that was 30-something thousand, I believe it was $33,000 roughly last year that the city absorbed, so that there was no increase in dependent coverage. So, I truly do believe that we, as a city, has done, quite a bit for all of our employees, not just police, but all. I don't have anything else.
No.
Okay.
Brian or Kyle?
When's our next meeting? Then, I know Mr. Lambert has a very tight schedule, so if we want to look at a follow-up meeting, I know you need time, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing the vote on that hurricane thing today and tomorrow, so I can give you an official answer. I mean, I'd probably say, I'd probably like to say the end of around the September 8th or the week of the 11th to the 15th.
When you say about on the hurricane thing, are you referring? What are you?
He asked me to,
Yeah,
he,
well,
the-
you all said, so, that policy is an admin policy. So that is just, you can just strike that. Go to, the memo because the city attorney wants to make a couple of additional changes to it. So that is under legal review.
It's under legal review, but the intent is to keep the time and a half, which of course you guys don't
Right.
get double time and a half.
okay, so you're not requesting me to do a vote on
Nope,
this anymore?
not at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it was never part of the CBA anyway. It was.
And I asked that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it was never part of the CBA anyway. It was making sure we have complied with the issues that we had under Hurricane Ian that we rectified for Hurricane Nicole
Mhm.
to make sure that we captured every concern that was given to us after Hurricane Ian. Because we probably had, if I had to make a guess, 35, 40 officers come through finance or HR door or your emails, whatnot. So, we definitely streamlined it for Nicole. And again, we followed that exact same format in the memo that went out yesterday, but we gave an extra hour for hour of comp time.
Mhm.
Okay. Do you have a question, Chris?
I don't have anything.
So you said the 6th or the 8th, Jared?
I said the end of the week of the 8th or the entire week from the 11th to the 15th. Should be plenty of time.
So I have absolutely nothing scheduled for September the 11th, the morning of September 11th or 12th.
I do for the morning.
Of which one?
I think 11th.
11th, yep, payroll meeting. So, huh?
The 12th is better for me too.
8:30, 9 o'clock.
They have to do this.
For anything, 9's okay on the 12th
That's fine.
so far. Okay. Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
No, wait a minute, no, 12th, I can't. 12th in the morning,
All day?
What about,
from 9:30 till about 11:30, 12.
what about the 7th or the 8th?
I cannot do the 8th. I can 7th.
You can't do the 11th, 12th. Could we do 1:30 on the 12th?
That's fine. I can do that.
Or if you're getting done at 11:30, would 1 be pushing it?
One should be fine.
Yeah. Candace, would you please schedule Tuesday, September 12th at 1 p.m. for IUPA? Placeholder on my calendar. I'll send it to you. I printed the articles again. Do you need them?
And so the city has no
Copy
interest
of
in
this.
the 3% COLA for tier 2.
No, sir. Not at this time.
Um,
Did you have a copy?
Yeah, I have that.
Okay.
And the individual breakdown, does Jared have a copy of that?
Absolutely. I CC'd him in all correspondence with Mr. Little. Would you like a copy of it?
If you have an extra.
Absolutely. Get for making so many copies. There it is. It was a very top one.
Excellent, thank you. And that's the total cost?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it, is there a breakdown of the annual cost?
Yes, sir. Each individual amount is the annualized cost.
Because that's what it has, is the cumulative increase over here.
Right. So I did that. So if you look at Mr. Little's item right here, his first proposal was raised annual max from 95 to 120. Okay, so he provided me that cost was under Schedule E, 206,000. So then proposal 2 was a deduct for going from 7.5% to 8%. So that was the deduct of the 9,657. So I went through each one of those. I mean, it just lines up right there. I mean, it's, you got the 49,000 for proposal 3. There's no proposal 4 because he actually puts within the body of his statement, the middle of his second page, that he does not believe that there is no change in retirement assumptions. So I just did each one of those individually. It still came up to the $366,000, and that's why I specifically made sure that if I stated that, I sent that to Mr. Little for
No, I got it.
confirmation.
I got it now.
Yeah, I did not want to overstep and say something that was not correct. And again, I fully believe that, if this is implemented, just I'm making a date of October 1st. Your plan returns have been far greater the last 12 months than the preceding 12 months. Even if we're off plus or minus $5,000-$10,000, it's negligible in the overall scheme of the pension fund. Okay, sir.
Yeah, Brian is with you.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, Jared.
That's it.
Thank you, Chris.